Rightio, Gavin. Let's open up Blender and have a go at some video editing. So on the splash screen, you got these options here. Video editing is the one you want, but you can always access that if you open a video file like so. And if you open just a general file, it's up here somewhere. Yeah, you can just go in here under add workspace, video editing, but best to make a new video editing file, because then this layout is what you want. Cool.
Hang on, I don't think I'm shared with you your screen.
What?
I don't think I've only got my screen.
Oh, hang on a second. Let's try this. Screen. Blender. Go live. You seeing it now, Gavin?
No, just my screen. Okay, oh yeah, I gotta do it with my... I gotta click onto you. It's just showing you.
Hang on, just
share it to me.
Oh, just a second. Blender, go live. How's that?
Here we go.
Wonderful.
Okay, so it's now showing your default. This is the beginning of the video editing workstation.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's super handy that it's got the files there on the left ready to go. If you need the little side screen thing of all your bookmark places and all your folders to navigate through them, you can just click that little pop open thing there. The hotkey for that's T. And yeah, let's grab some video and stick it in the timeline. I'll go for...
Alright. If you see me, have you seen what I've done?
Yep.
So I've placed in a GIF. GIF.
Yep. It's cool that I had support for GIFs. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Blender's... It doesn't export GIFs. You have to get a plugin especially for exporting them. So it is doable, but it's cool that it has support the other way. It also does MKV files, which a lot of other video editing software doesn't, which is quite annoying.
Yeah, so I've noticed that it will only export to MKV. Blender usually does. Like Blender, when you export it, so you go into output and you put file format and it says MP3 E6 MPEG video, that will export it as the MKV.
Hang on, Gavin. Let me just show you something. Okay.
All right.
The wrapper for the output doesn't need to be MKV. There's a way of editing that, and so in these settings up here, you have your output file format. It gives you that option. It seems like that's the only option, but the thing that it's kind of wrapped up in, the file kind, is under encoding. If you click that little drop down menu there, you can change it. So Matroska is the MKV, but I usually go for MP4 because that's generally kind of a standard, and it will play on most things. Whereas
I've got MP4.
Yeah. Yeah, so that should be good. And then
how about
you want it to output your audio, and the video codec H.264 is standard for YouTube.
Is that the same for like a model file, like a file of a modeling scene? Yeah, it can be exported straight to MP3 or 4. Oh, well, not MP3, but MP4.
Yep. Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same.
It's just within the encoding.
Yeah,
option.
under
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And you also need to, as with in a 3D scene, specify where your output is going to be. So otherwise it'll go straight into your temp file. So you open that up and then
Oh, yep, yep.
pick where you want it to be. So in this case, we'll put it into a new folder called video output. And you got to name your file too down here. So
Yep. So I've just made a new file called Spencer's Rendered Videos.
video render. Sweet. And it will also export in your file name the frames as well. So frame 1 to 250, for example. Yeah. So yeah, that's your frame range there, and that's also the same in here. I've got it set to 10 frames a second, but I'll put it at 25, which is fairly standard.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, to put that video in, I just click and drag it from there. Same with the images. And all the settings for those, the way that they appear in here, are all down in the right hand corner down here. So,
All right.
so if I wanted to have this image in here, it'll, yeah, you can extend it out for as many frames as you need to just by grabbing the end of it like that. Boom. And
do you know by extending it, does that automatically make it into a loop, or does that,
no.
or does it just ends at the last frame?
Oh, it'll end at the last frame if you do that for a video file, but I've done it for a PNG image file. For some reason, it's got all this info at the bottom, which I'm not super crazy about.
See, found that if I've extended it on, I wonder if I extend it on a GIF. Actually, that is a GIF. I did it too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about GIFs. I haven't really.
I think it just goes to frame 1.
Let me try putting a GIF in. Let's do this one here. This one is snow blowing. No, that doesn't look right. Let's try this. You can also switch between these to see what file types they are and when they were edited. What about this fast snowman one? How's this for a GIF, Kevin?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, so it'll freeze on the last.
Yeah, yeah. I've
And
just saw that.
And you can see in here, like, where it ends to.
Could you give me some some areas where using the compositing node would be a better idea than using the video editor to mix videos together? To combine scenes,
like if I had it's I think it's more for if you need more control for if you're sort of mixing stuff together. So if I had this and I wanted to make it so everywhere that was black on this image was like an alpha, like this background thing, maybe then I'd use it.
right?
Or if I wanted sections of it to be blurry but other sections not to be.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. But you
So
can
the compositing node is more for effects.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's also to combine maybe for example, I think I use compositing node a lot for making fog, or fake volumetric fog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could also Like, I think we went over one of making a flag. You could have your 3D animation of a flag and then have that rendered out, and then with all the physics of how the flag moves, and then you could take just a PNG and stick that into your compositing node and have it on the flag. So rather than having to do that in your 3D scene and actually have it on the flag, you could do that kind of later in the process to save processing power.
Mm-hmm. And that's absolutely not something you can do with a video editor.
No. But you I was saying, like, supposing you wanted to mix the snowman so that everywhere that's black is clear, you can kind of do that in here as well. So it is good for that sometimes. You just need to change what this blending mode is here. So I think these are all the different options for the way that this layer interacts with the layers underneath.
Mm-hmm.
So at the moment it's alpha over, so it basically says everywhere in this image that doesn't have an alpha, it'll just be over the top. But you can also kind of cross them together or have them so that certain things will affect it. So I think maybe lighten. Yeah, there you go. Lighten is the one for taking everywhere that's like black on your image and removing it so you have just the color underneath, like that.
Right, I haven't actually played much with the blend option in the compositing drop-down menu in the video editor.
Yeah, I mean,
I have a wee go. It was interesting because I wanted to. There was a problem that I never managed to learn how to do. I tried to get you to help me with it, but it was that adding vertex color to a low poly model, but it used like blend modes. Not in here, so I'm a bit going off subject.
yeah, but it was the same.
But using that, I was interested in like using those kind of like layering systems.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the system is fairly universal as well. Like in Photoshop, there's blending options between layers like that as well, and I think it's the same with a lot of video editing and image editing things. So, if I had a still image of some text and I wanted to get rid of everything other than the text, and everything other than the text was black, I'd do that the same way as I'm doing here. So screen is the one that I'm using, but lighten also works for that. But they're slightly different. But yeah, it is also kind of fun just to play with these and kind of figure out, like here it's sort of doing the opposite. It's taking everywhere that's white and making that the object underneath. When you bring a video sequencer in, or a video into here, it will also bring in the sound as the green one. So to turn that off, you can delete it to get rid of it, or you can mute it if you want to be able to work on it but still have the sound later when you export it.
There's a playback drop down there.
Yeah, so if you've got this here, which is the timeline, it's under playback, and then sometimes I also put on scrubbing as well, so that way if I'm working through the scene frame by frame using the left and right arrows, I can sync it up, which is what I'll probably be doing for the music video project I'm doing when I'm syncing up the mouth, so I can do that. I'll just turn that off, and I'll delete this. So
this is the current music video project you've been doing.
Yeah, that's what this thing in the background is, and the way that I made that was I had an image of, I just had a scan that I did of one big image with a whole bunch of eyes on it. I'll just quickly show you. Image editor, open. So it was this one here. So basically I had this, which is a page from my sketchbook, right?
Yep.
And then what I've done is in the video editor, just zoomed in heaps on one, and then set a keyframe to say, oh, yep, on this frame it'll be in this space, and then on the next frame I've moved it so it's like that. And the way that you do that is quite straightforward and quite effective, I think. You take your image, which is, might as well do it with the exact same image. You take your image, which was called hand-drawn eyes. Yeah, and then using our favorite hotkeys, S for scale, G for grab, and R for rotation, placing them where you want them. So I'm just using G and S and R, and then so yeah, say I want that there. I set a hotkey for the transform for the X and Y position and the scale.
Right.
By hovering over this and hitting I. And then on the next frame, either turning this on so it auto keys when I move it, or going to the next frame, moving this, and then setting the hotkeys, or setting the keyframes that way. Or so that's under transform on the right under here. So I've got my image and I'm just moving it around frame by frame and jumping between the frames by using my left and right arrow. Boom. And I've put on auto
and
keying.
the end result is you've made a kind of like a stop motion kind of effect.
Yeah, exactly. So the finished thing looks more like this. You know?
Yeah.
And that's just by rotating, scaling, and moving, rotating, scaling, and moving. So if you imagine if we zoomed out, it would just be like that one big image we were looking at before.
Right.
This one. But you can imagine that's also the same way that you would have, say, your snowman flying into the scene. You know how we were talking about taking bits of footage that we've made and having it so it flies into the scene and flies out and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So you do that by setting a hotkey for the X and Y position. And then I've got auto keying on, so if I just change the position earlier on, and then press play, see it's kind of auto doing it.
All right. Yeah.
So, whoa! And then the way to see what those keyframes are is to go in here.
So that is in the transform drop down in the strip.
Yep. Yeah, under transform. transforms just where your object is, what the
Yeah,
rotation is
yeah.
in the scale, and
It's another term for just moving. The grab tool.
yeah. But I'm saying I wanted to make this pause in the middle there. This is the keyframe that I've set that says that it's going to be sitting in its original position, so I could just copy that and paste it, or hit Shift D, which is the hotkey to copy and paste, or duplicate rather. You could also have set hotkeys for the scale so that it grows when it comes in. Maybe, I don't know. Or like that super cheesy like video thing of where it kind of grows from.
All right.
You know?
Yes. Yes, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so easy. You just use so you're using scale. You could just use rotation on the Z as well, wouldn't it? Do the exact
It,
same kind of
it,
thing.
it, it hasn't got the option of rotation on the Z because we're only working in 2 dimensions.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just scale it down
Oh, I see.
on the X. But if you
Oh,
want
okay. Yeah.
if you want a full breakdown of all the hotkeys, that's just tucked away in this little summary on the left here. So I've got the scale for the X and Y. So I'm also gonna hit the hotkey T to make it linear.
If you take a look at what I'm doing, so I've used the scale to make it skinnier, but it hasn't. The underlying video hasn't actually shown up underneath it. What did I need to do?
Let's go further forward in your timeline.
See?
It's because it's covering it up.
So I go into is it compositing or
No. Sorry, hang on. What do you want to do? You want to make it so it goes from being skinny to being that width.
yeah, and you can see the video underneath it.
Well, if you scale that now on the X. Oh. Why is it hiding the other one? Huh. Can you put that on top? Over on top? What is the
See that's
what
see that works fine with that.
I think it might be something to do with the way that it's mixing. Your
The blend.
compositing blend.
So they're all that one's
See,
at
that
darken.
one's set to darken. Yeah.
This one's so if I put that up here and I change it to alpha over.
Yeah, that's what you want. It's on
No.
alpha over now.
And this one this one to alpha over and this one to darken. See what happens there. Because that's how it was.
It's on the left, yeah. What effect are you trying to achieve?
Oh, I was just trying to see that do that kind of that cheesy kind of the image kind of shrinking, but you still see the image below it.
Right.
But
Just set it to alpha over then. That's alpha under.
yeah. So okay. Okay. Interesting. Oh, the just
Um,
oh, I was just trying to insert a keyframe.
set. The best way to do it is to open up, so you can see that menu on the right that has your transform settings, like I've got.
This one?
No, on the
I'll take a look at
on
what you're doing.
the sequencer panel.
Okay, you're pointing at it now. The
Yeah, see,
transform on the sequencer panel. Yeah, okay.
yeah, you see how I've got that there. So I would, yeah, there, yeah. So
So go to,
I'd set a keyframe for where you want it to be in the final resting position.
and that's that little dot at the
Yep.
right. Okay, press that. Okay,
Yep.
and then that goes yellow.
Yeah. I do it for
Yeah,
the position as well if you want to have it so it's flying into the scene like my one is.
I'll just wait. Oh, hang on.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe I can make this one here. Lion. So I will go. Maybe goes down. This shows up. I will scale it.
Yeah, but you might want to set a keyframe for um where you want it to finish. So like set the keyframe first for
Because
the
it
resting.
flies in rather than, so its end will be here.
Yeah.
I'll put the keyframe there,
Yeah.
position,
Yep. So click that one there.
but also scale as well.
Yeah, if you're gonna have it changing. Yeah.
Yeah, as both will both grow or be growing in size.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also you can just shrink it, and
yeah,
if you
and then
if you have auto
move it.
keying on as well, then you don't need to set the keyframes
Oh,
manually,
right.
and that's
Yeah,
and
yeah. I
that's just
see.
that little button there.
Oof.
Yeah, look at that magic. And then it shrinks to nothing.
Oh, if I move it. Oh, okay. It moves the keyframes. If you move the,
Yeah. All the
that's
keyframes will be relative to the clip as well. So if you move your clip so it starts earlier, the keyframes will all start earlier too. See, as I move this, although I'm on say frame 30, if I move this through the timeline, you can see the keyframes are moving as well as the clip. Doing. Sweet. Should we try doing some text as well, Gavin?
yeah, yeah.
So the way to add stuff if it's not in here, your little file browser thing is you go into Add, which is in here. This gives you all these options.
Oh, hang on. I'll just watch. Okay, show me. Please repeat that.
So we were clicking and dragging sounds and images from this file browser up here, which we can navigate through here. But if we wanted to add, say, things native to Blender, like text or just a blank color, and also adjustment layers, but maybe we'll save that for another time. You can do that in here. So let's just add text. So it's under add text, and there it is there. And it says the word text, which you can change. Like all these other layers, you change all the info in here about what it is, what color it is, what font. So we'll call this that's no man, because it's a snowman. And I'll change the color.
I see what you did there. I was quite clever.
I'm a witty guy. You can change the size, and you can change the font. I don't know if I've got Joker Man, but if I do, I'll use it. Nope, I don't. Let's just go for Arial Bold. So you can also add keyframes for all that stuff in here too. So you could have it change color or whatever by setting a keyframe, then changing the color later in the piece.
Yep.
You know. And look at that. Oh,
We'll have a go catching up with you.
there are the keyframes there. And
Adding text.
another thing is if you want stuff to fade in and fade out.
Yeah, I've used those before.
Sweet.
Um,
You do that you do that just under the opacity option here.
I'm just a bit confused. I don't know where I press add.
Yep, add in that menu.
Add text.
Here, text.
Yeah.
Yep. And then
And
yep.
So where does it go though?
It's at the bottom there.
Oh, it's all the way down there.
Yeah. So
there's
heaps of these channels. Yeah. If you get lost in the channels, you can scroll through them with this little scroller on the side. Yeah, and then you can extend out how long you want it with that. But I want to have it so it fades in, so I'll just have it start a bit earlier. I'll have it so that I set a keyframe for when I want it to be at full opacity here, which is 1. Then earlier, because I got auto keying on, it'll make a keyframe for the opacity, and it'll interpolate the growth in this number from 0 to 1. Got a fade. I'll make it fade out too by copying these and then pasting them here, but around the other way. You can have it on its own. You can have it on its own layer as well, or channel rather.
Oh, I wanted it to go small and then to go
Okay, so
like
open up your action editor or your playback panel. It's at the bottom there, so that we can see where the keyframes are. So this one, yeah. So if you click your summary on the left, it'll tell you where your hotkeys are. So you've got a bunch of hotkeys for... No, you've got one hotkey for your text size, right?
yeah.
And that's on frame, whatever, 52 or something. So you need to set another one for when you want it to change size.
Yeah, so have I made two like should I delete all of these ones here or
No.
do they what are these for? Like these aren't the videos changing, this is specifically text based.
Yeah, so it's giving you a summary of all the things in your scene that are...
Oh, okay.
So if you drop down your summary, so we can... Oh, hang on. Yeah, so it's just showing you all the other hotkeys, but oh, that's weird. Click on another layer. Take a look. All right, and click back on that one.
Okay.
The other thing I like to do in situations where I'm like, oh, I can see that there's a bunch of keyframes, but I'm not sure what they are, is to open up the graph editor and take a look at that.
Okay. I open that and see it
Or-
so here we go. Text.
Yeah. So because you've only got one hotkey, no, one keyframe for your text. Oh yeah, that's the one for the size of your other one.
Oh no, that's fine. I just thought I'd move because I made something and then it.
So this is giving me a proper breakdown of all of the things that I've set keyframes for. R, G, B, and A, which is the alpha, which I haven't adjusted. And then this one here, which is the blend between 0 and 100. Total opacity, total opaque. So click on your text layer.
Yep.
You wanted to edit it so that it changes size, right?
Yeah.
Maybe drag it out a little bit so it's a bit longer. So like grab the end of your text thing. Yeah. So it gives you a bit more runway. You can use the up and down arrows to skip between keyframes as well. That's a very handy one to know. So I have set them for my text colors here and my compositing opacity. So where they're grayed out, that means that there's a hotkey. I mean a keyframe. Yeah. So you've got just click the up and down. Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, I wanted to make multiples. Here we go.
Why not?
Just
It would be nice.
oh yeah, miss.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice if there were more modifiers for doing that, so we could have like an array modifier in here. But
like make a circular array.
Yeah, or a offset. Yeah, but I don't know. We'll get to that functionality eventually. But there are modifiers for layers as well, which you can use in here. So if you wanted to have it, I don't know, it's more for color adjustment stuff. Anyway, doing cool. Another thing that's
Maybe.
quite handy to know, Gavin, is
Yeah.
the to split. If you've got a piece of footage, are you watching mine?
Yeah, I'm watching.
If you've got a bit of footage like this, and you're like, oh, I wanna like chop it off so that that's the end right there,
Yeah.
or you can split at that where the playhead is by hitting the hotkey K, and then you'll end up with like 2 copies of that thing, that original video, but it'll be split at the playhead. So you could have it so it will. Hang on, this is confusing because that's the snowman layer, which is. Hang on, I'll do it with a different layer. I'll do it with this one. Supposing I wanted it so that
Copying.
uh,
it so it's all at.
so if I wanted this image to disappear at some point and then reappear again, I can hit K to split that into 2 pieces, and then I can move that along the timeline so it'll reappear. Or if I just wanted to chop off the end of it and get rid of that, I could just K is, it needs to be highlighted, the piece that you want to chop up, and K to split it. K for cut.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. There was one more thing that I always got stumped on. Is
Yeah.
See, you notice if you're looking at my screen,
Yeah.
the resolution is at. I think I did figure it out. Is at like 1920. Like it's got a lot of blankness in the sides there.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I?
It's just so it's set to like 1080p widescreen. You can just adjust, like if you want it to be portrait rather than landscape, you could just adjust these. So usually for posting square images on Instagram, I set it to 1080 by 1080 because I think that's standard.
I just press in and then scale to.
That might work. Scale it up more.
It's not quite, but it doesn't. It'll crop it if I go. That it's not.
Yeah, I think. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Oh yeah, the reason that those ones shrunk in the middle there is because of the hotkeys that you set before for the scale.
Yeah, so
you might want to look at your actual.
oh, that won't.
You might want to look at your dope sheet.
Hang on. I'll also
Yeah.
I just want to move this down also.
Yeah. So to make it shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that in here.
And I'll put it to dope sheet. Save this as well.
Yeah, then you'll be able to see when it's too big or
Yeah.
small. Huh.
Doing some butt video.
Yeah, stick that on Instagram. I didn't realize this. The text will auto kind of align and resize based on the how big your video is, I think. So if you make that wider, it kind of shrinks.
Oh, have you check out what's happening? I put. So what I've done is I've tried to move it. It now jumps. See, because I
Yeah, it's because you've
tried
added more
the.
keyframes where
And maybe if I how would I then
so use
find that misplaced key and then
okay, the best way to do it is if you're switching between your keyframes is you take you highlight the layer that you're working on, that's right, and then go through by hitting the up and down arrows rather than the left or right arrows, and that will go between your keyframes. So that way you can easily see which one's like out of place.
it's only going through two. See, you can't see my fingers, but I'm trying to press beyond that, but that's all
Okay.
it's going to. But I can see.
So hang on. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see it jumps.
Let's see your list of
It's
let's see your layers in here, your sequencer.
I'm on there on
Yeah,
the sequencer.
yes. Zoom in. Okay. So go backwards and forwards with your and just scrub through so it shrinks there.
So there is when it jumps,
But it's still got the outline there.
and it's on 31. Yeah.
Ah. Can you just quickly do a render? Just hit F12. Just hit F12.
Yeah.
That's the space where it's supposed to be, right?
No, because if you go play. Oh,
Yeah, I think it was just a glitch.
okay. I guess I'll ignore that happen. Yeah, I'm not sure what, because I'm pretty sure because I clicked like I wanted to move it. If you're looking at my cursor, I
Yeah.
wanted to move it back up there, and I just randomly put a key up to there, but it kind of made it. I thought that's what made it kind of jump.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I thought so too, but it seems to be alright now. Sweet. Yeah, so I think the important lesson with this is that it's good to have your output resolution chosen at the start because all those keyframes that you made for the size are based on a different size.
and
But yeah, MP4.
with the container, with the container MP4. So, was it on Matroska when it was exported as a NKV?
Yeah, that's what Matroska stands for.
Okay. So if I import it now, I'll just make sure it's in rendered vids.
Yeah, so it should render
Finished.
into that folder. So
Render.
that is that one there. But make sure it's there and it's ready and it's named. Render.
And make sure that it's on original frame 1.
Yeah.
Render animation.
Or whatever frame you. I like to start my animations at frame 1, but
Yeah.
with this one here, I'm going to start it there because I want it from where the snowman starts. So I can adjust that up in here under frame range. I'll just align that with that. So it'll export this grey area. And we'll get it to stop there. Are you rendering yours out, Gavin?
Yeah, I just rendered it out now.
Nice. I'm going to render mine out too. I'm going to make it end there. It's also a good rule of thumb to save at the start, which is something I didn't do. Cool. So that should hopefully have worked.
Right. Yeah, that's good. It was good to like re-go over the video sequencer again.
Yeah, totally.
I first time I heard a bit about first time I've like looked at like a bit about the compositing and the transform down in the sequencer. Maybe just quickly I'll go, since I've got you here, I'll just
Yep.
I'll open what I made just I think a few days ago. Just to I think like to talk it through, like also house my memory as well. So go 3D models.
Oh, Gavin, at
Mhm.
the risk of overloading you with too much stuff.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
I just want to show you something that's actually
Yeah, do it.
quite cool. So we've got this Blender file and we're using it basically as a video editor, right?
Mhm.
We're taking data that's elsewhere. We're taking video files and image files that have already been exported and then putting them in our sequencer, right?
Yep.
But the thing that I've found that's really quite cool is, supposing I've been working on some 3D scenes and some 2D scenes in Blender, but I go into my timeline and I'm like, oh, actually, I want to edit this 3D snowman that I've been working on, but I don't want to have to open up the 3D file and then edit it and then export it and then re-import it in here.
Yep.
One thing you can do is you can work on all your different things that are going to be layered up, all your different 3D, 2D files, whatever, and you could have them open in a Blender file as different scenes. And then,
oh, right.
So when we're usually using Blender for general 3D workspace stuff or 2D, whatever, this is your general scene, your regular scene collection. You know, it would have your default cube in it.
Mhm.
But you can have multiple scenes. So you could have a scene that has a cube in it, and a scene that has, you know, a 2D thing, whatever. And then you can take whatever happens in that scene and then plonk it in here as a layer.
Yep.
So you do that. You go. Hang on, how do we do that? No, I'll make a new scene. Hang on. Let's make a 3D scene with Suzanne in it for example. I would call this one Suzanne scene. Suzanne being the monkey. And I would have a camera in the scene. And then I, put my whatever. Just gonna have her spin background 360. Okay, so we've got a 3D scene.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what the fuck? RZ360. Okay, cool. We're happy. But if we go back into this, we can have that scene as a layer,
Oh wow.
and then
So how did it?
we're like, oh, actually, I want there to be a transparent image on this. I haven't rendered out this thing of Suzanne, like I only just made it, but I'm like, all right, I want to change the color of the monkey. I want to make the background clear. All you
So you can
do,
still edit the mesh and properties of that model.
yeah, because it hasn't been rendered out. It's still just in Blender, but it's acting as another layer. But instead of being a video, it's a scene, and the output from the scene is the output from your camera. So
Interesting. So wait, how did you do that? Like,
so in the video editor, you have to, yeah. So think of it as having different scenes. So hang on, I'll get rid of this because this is confusing. So my video editor, the scene that I'm working on is called scene, but I'll rename it and call it video editoring. So if I'm using the video editoring scene, I add a new thing just as I would add a sound or an image or a text thing or a color.
all right, so the scene is in there. So that's a Shift A.
Yeah, Shift A to add. Yep, and then you add a new scene.
But since I have no scene there, so if I
add a new layout. Yeah, click that, and then just general.
okay,
Yeah.
Shift A.
No, don't do that just yet, because the scene that you're working with, if you go back to your video editor,
Mm-hmm.
and look on the right at the top, see it's got the title of your scene, which is that symbol there.
What? I'll look at yours.
So that's
Video editing.
yeah. See it. That is the symbol that means scene, and I just renamed it from scene to video editoring. So what you want to do is, in your video editor, make a new scene like I have.
Okay, Shift A.
Yeah, Shift A.
Scene. New scene.
Yep. So that's called scene 001, right? Now, if you go back into your layout or your modeling panel,
Yep.
If you go up here and click
I'll
on
take a look at.
the scene symbol, which is that one there,
Yep.
you can kind of switch between them, but then you want them to, or maybe click that there, because it by default it's got it set to viewing layer, but if you have it so it displays your scenes, you can easily switch between them.
Okay. So just follow me.
Yep.
So I'm in modeling there.
Yep. So click the icon to the right of that, which is this one. No. Get out of there. The icon just to this one here, just to the right.
I can't see. I have to switch in between two.
Go into your modeling mode and then go into the outliner.
Modeling mode.
Yeah. So the object just to the right of that, just over. Yeah, that one there.
Display mode.
Yeah. So if you click that and switch it to scenes, yeah, it'll and then open up your outliner so you can see everything. You'll see that there's one called Scene, which I call video editing to make it less confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So name that video editor.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Scene 001, I renamed that as, Suzanne Scene or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you were to put, say, you need to have a camera in the scene because that's what's going to be outputting to your sequencer. So
Camera.
yep, and then put something in front of the camera.
Just making sure it's pointed towards the
Yeah,
to the origin.
sweet.
Then
Yep.
stay.
That's what you want. Yeah. So if you were to switch back into your video editor scene by clicking it, click on the scene in the outliner. Yep. No. Yep. Down.
Yep.
Down where it says video editor. That switches your scene. So
Yep.
you see, it's changed the output shape, and then if you
Okay.
so now there she is. That's your scene being fed
Interesting.
straight out. So, I've decided, I want Suzanne to have a transparent background so that it's like nicely overlaid over the other footage. I can just go in and do that the way we usually do by going into the render options, film, and then making it transparent background. So we ended up with these dotted things. Oh, I might need to put a light in my scene too. Why did it do that? Give this an outliner so I can switch these more easily.
All right. I think that should be. What was that called, by the way? Like, what was that? Like creating that scene, like that, like adding an unrendered scene into a.
I call it using scenes in the video sequence editor. But it's quite cool because it means that, say I've like made if we forget about the 2D, if we forget about the 3D, say I've made a movie where there's a bunch of different characters in different scenes. I can like put them in the timeline and edit them, but then if I need to change anything in each scene, I can go back and do that without any fucking around, like exporting stuff and re-importing it, any stuff like that. Which is great because in the past I've usually used like After Effects and Premiere for all that video editing stuff, which means jumping out of the program and then re-exporting, re-rendering, blah blah blah.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Sweet. I'm keen to.
Yeah. What was the other thing you wanted to show?
Oh, I thought I'll just quickly show you what I did.
Do it. can't see your stream, Gavin.
Oh, I have to add you.
What is this little bung? Oh, there we go.
You good? Got me?
I can't see your. I can't see your thing.
Here you go. Go live. Yeah. So yeah, I made a gear spin.
Oh yeah, that's what I like.
Um, there's a bit of a trick to it. Like you got to. I'm just trying to remember. You kind of add the driver there as the first kind of action, isn't it? And then. So not I just thought out the isolator and not like worry about the time offset modifier.
Oh yeah.
So
Hang on. I'll stop recording the video because
yeah, sure.
I don't know how useful this will be. But oh yeah, look at that. That's so cool. Sweet. Cool. That was, how long was that? Just over an hour. Perfect.